What is up, guys? Welcome back to the SuperCoach Experience podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Savage, the coach of the Savage Burbers for 2026. I think I'm rolling back with the Savage Burbers, where I ranked really well in 2024. But we are joined by two special guests today. We're joined by the winner of 2021, the Viliami. Timmy, how are you?
Good, thank you, brother.
And as you can see right next to him, we've got Mikey in the studio as well. We've just done a jersey presentation with him and he's rocking the merch.
Yeah, it's about time, and it's good to be back. I guess I wasn't on the podcast as much as I could have last year. Wasn't able to do the Sunday wrap up, so hopefully new year. But obviously could jump in for one now, and yeah, I wasn't really keen. Not that I wasn't keen, but too busy with my time on the EPL SuperCoach, BBL SuperCoach. But then as soon as I'm with these two, then I get real keen and excited. So keen for a good episode.
It's funny, we were on the phone last week. I was on the phone to Timmy, and then you called and we did a merger call. I wasn't keen on talking SuperCoach at all, but then we talked SuperCoach for like 20 minutes at least.
Influence on each other.
Yeah, exactly. First of all, Mikey, congratulations. Jet Cleary Adard has been born.
Yeah, I knew I was going to cop that. Yeah. It's definitely it's a footy name, that's for sure. So hopefully one day Jet Adard will be lining up for the Panthers. Panthers only.
It's such a Panthers name, isn't it? Too?
Yeah, it is. I don't know. That's not why I picked it and everything. That's why I picked it. But I guess I'll have to rock with it. But hopefully entering my first SuperCoach this year as a dad. So hopefully that will give me some luck for this season.
And hopefully you can be daddy of all SuperCoach scores. All right. So. Today we're going to go over the hookers. Our preseason analysis podcast. These are the big dogs where we put a lot of time and effort into studying the intricacies of each player. And Timmy, what have you found? I don't want to ask for the players in particular, but have you found some gems?
Oh, I mean, there's a couple. I mean, I think it's pretty black and white in a lot of the forward positions. It just depends on the minutes that they're going to get for the most part. But yeah, there's a little bit of gems, maybe a couple of little gems there.
Mikey, your first look at Team Picker. What was your initial thoughts? Do you find it's going to be a tricky year? I think on the car ride here, we noticed the lack of cheapies. Hopefully that unfolds and a lot more comes about the preseason.
Yeah, I feel like most years I don't find it hard to put a team together on a Team Picker, but actually my first sitting on it, I couldn't complete my team in the first one because, I don't know, I didn't feel 100% motivated with it, but I just was looking at some of the positions and I go, I don't think all these guys are going to play. And I'm just like, it was a bit tough, but then when I did a bit more of a deep dive the next time I put it together, I was able to put one. I go, you know what, there's a lot of bit of value, but I think this year will be different because the fullbacks, if we get all these fullbacks fit, it's going to be very open. And then on top of that, there's a lot of value in the second row. And like you said, not as many cheapies to start, but once a preseason starts, all these kind of outlooks are going to change. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a different year. And, like always, I think you're going to want to get off to a fast start. So, I'm keen.
100%. I think the hookers is a position where you've got to get it right because you want to spend as little trades as possible up front. And I think there's a lot of value there, but there's also a lot of what ifs. So we're going to start from the top and work our way down. I think as we go on, we've got Timmy's black book that's green that last year we utilised, and I think we didn't refer back to it much in the season. So I think this year we make sure we refer to it, and I want you to put at least 5 names down today.
Yeah, I think I've got.
You've got
probably almost just exactly 5 names at hooker. Sweet. There might be a 6th name, but I've narrowed it down to. I mean, I might open it back up. It's early days. Like there's a lot of more information to be, handed out throughout the preseason. But yeah, probably pretty narrow at this point.
All right, let's go. The flags are waved. Blake Brayley, let's start off. He's the most expensive hooker at $654,400. He averaged 54.7 before he was given the license to run midway through last year. Where we saw that game, I think it was against the Dragons, where he was given that license to run. He scored that ton. After that, he averaged 81 for the rest of the season. My only issue is that 81 was in the last 11 games. Is that his ceiling when middles are more tired and teams are more busted? Are we going to get that in a first 6-game sample size?
I felt like I already anticipated. I knew you were going to. I knew you love the whole back end of the year play.
Yeah.
You always go with that. And look, I don't think it's necessarily that. I think it was more just an indication of all right,
play style.
You start running, it's doing good for the side, and there was other good things happening around it. They made big deals about it in the press conferences after games for about 3 or 4 weeks running about how well it's going. And, you know, Brayley was even in one of those. I think he might have been captain 1 week or something because of injury or something like that, and was in there addressing it as well. And, yeah, so it was a big deal. So I don't think, like, they're going to go, oh, let's just go back to meat and potatoes, dummy half footy for you to start the season. I expect him to continue running, you know what I mean? Whether or not he can expose it as much as what he did in the back end, who knows? But I think there's going to be an intention to continue with that because it was really working and he was playing better footy and so was the side.
There was one thing that coincided with his run in form, and that's actually having a dominant middle in Adam Fanua-Blake in the side. So maybe that's just the new normal once you've actually got a forward pack to roll off. Mikey, what are your initial thoughts on Blake Brayley?
To be honest, my initial thoughts looking at it now at 650K, it's crazy. Like in past years, if you wanted a gun hook, you have to spend a bit more, more on that. So it's crazy that when you look at it, if you did want to go the top shelf, it's only 650,000. But then that also alarms me. It shows how much the average has dipped from previous years. So is that the new norm? I'm not too sure. But like, if I was gonna, like, you know what I'm like, very rarely, like, I have started with guns in the past. Last year I started with Starling, and I held Starling the whole year, and that worked pretty decently for me. So this year I do like some mid-range options better, but if I was to, I'd probably be more tempted to go Brayley even over Harry Grant, because I don't think it was a one-off. Yeah, there was a part where he was playing for a contract, but the Sharks have got a roster where I wouldn't say they're running out of time, but I think if they wanted to hit a premiership, you know, they've got a window. Yeah. They're definitely within their window. Not saying that I think they can win next year, but they're within their window. And I think last year what he did worked for him. He'd be pushing to cement the, you know, New South Wales Blues jersey and all this. And to do that, I think he's going to keep playing how he did last year. So their draw is pretty mixed. They start with the Titans, they then go to the Panthers, they then go Dolphins, and then after Dolphins, they switch to the Raiders. I know you say it all the time, Savs, that draw isn't everything at the start. But when I am looking, I will have a look, because if you run into Panthers at the start, you run into Storm at the start, then I'm going to think, okay, I don't think there's going to be heaps of points on offer, and then that might alter my decision. But I still do look at the teams they're playing. Like, and to me, that isn't too bad of a draw. That's two tough sides, but I think for someone in Brayley in a hooking position, I think you could pick him.
Timmy?
Yeah, I'm pretty keen on him. He's one that I'm sort of really leaning towards. So I've got all this extra money. I've still got $1 million in the bank after filling aside, depending on, you know, how the cheapies all land. So I feel like I can spend up. I've still got to add Payne Haas to my side, so I'd probably take away 300K or something from that $1 million I've got spare. But yeah, I just feel like I'm excited by the upside. I feel like his floor's going to be around, you know, I mean, he does put out the odd 40s, you know what I mean? And that would suck early if, you know, you've paid up 650 and it's not working out and he's going to start losing a little bit of money. But I think if you were just patient with him and you just stuck with him from the start, it's going to sort itself out eventually. I mean, 2024, he averaged 53. 2023, he averaged 57, which is under his price point. So he really does rely on him having that running game that he was having in the back end of last year. But, yeah, I mean, you'd expect it. Maybe it is a little bit more just back and forth in the first couple of games, like kicking and feeling each other out, and there's not really...
Which wouldn't be good if you've got all these bunch of mid-ranges, which we're going to get to, that could probably score similar for 200,000 less. So that's the hard part. You've got to think that he's got to come out and
You've also then got to make that trade, though.
Yeah.
If you've got one of these mid-ranges, you've got to then spend that trade and time it right to then bring in probably like a Brayley or a Harry at some point. So
I think that's the case.
You can just start with one of these guys if you're confident enough, like... I'm definitely leaning towards him or Harry as one of my starters. I think I'll have one or the other.
I know there are a lot of mid-rangers this year, but I'm with you that I think going a gun hooker is definitely going to be a good option, because like, he averaged 52.8 in his first 6 last year. I like to look at the first 6 because realistically, if you get a mid-ranger, you kind of need to compare them with what they're going to score with the other kind of guys around that period until you're ready to sell. So I always look at the first 6, and he averaged 52.8. You'd be happy to cop that and hold him for the rest of the season and get that 81 in the last 11 games rather than making multiple trades across the same position.
You can imagine too that 52.8 that he averaged in the first six rounds is probably the worst case scenario for this year if he was just to go out and do the same thing and not run at the start of the season because he didn't run.
Yeah.
So that if he does add a bit of running into that and then the attack comes off that, then we're bumping up a bit more into that 65 plus where we need to be. But yeah, and he did have quite a few scores in the 80s. So like from that round 1 to 14, he had only 5 scores out of 13 over 60 points. And then from that round 15 that you spoke of where he went up to 81 average, 9 out of 11 were over 60. So that's nearly all.
It's a good indication, and it coincides with him giving a license to run. And if Toby Rudolph's in the side, then there's more runs there.
And he could, if he starts well, and it helps just if he starts well and you're paid up for that. We all want to start well and not just be fizzling around the 50, 60K mark too. So if he can just continue running, which I don't see why he would, as long as the opportunities are there, he's probably not going to try force it. But
he's also come off an Australian tour, which I'm usually against getting players, but he didn't play a game. Like, he was there for the experience. He can only get better, right?
That camp's going to help him for sure. And like I said, this year he'll want to push towards that role. But with all that, I'm kind of on the opposite side to you. I don't want to spend up in hooker from the start when there's so many good options. Last year, Starling went from that small role to then getting a big role at that price. And this year, it's not just taking a mid-range or hooker. I think you can only take them if you think their role's going to improve. And this year, with the ones we're going to get to, there's a potential couple that are going to go from averaging about 65 plus minutes a game, some of them 80, at about 200,000 less than Brayley. To me, that's the difference of getting another mid-ranger to a gun in the centre wing, which I think will be critical.
And I guess that's the thing as well. If you're wanting to save a trade in hooker, just leave him there for the rest of the season. Then you can do it in another position where there's a lot of other options as well. So yeah, it's a tricky one. Is he in the black book, Timmy?
Oh yeah.
Yep. All right, we're ticking him off and putting him in the black book. There you go. All right, let's move on to Harry Grant, 606,300. This is probably, the lowest you'll see Harry Grant ever.
Very, very cheap.
I really like it. 50K less than the most expensive option. Averaged 62 in 16 games last year. Had 2 games with significantly less minutes than 80. Taking that away, that bumps his average up to 66. So it's not much there, but considering he had a down year last year, there were factors that played into it. I think with Ryan Pappenhausen leaving the club, that shows more ownership on Harry to take more of a role. Eliasa Katoa's left the club, so Jerome Hughes won't have that partner in Eliasa Katoa. So I think it's a big year for Harry and Cameron Munster in particular for the Melbourne side. And I like it, 600K, and it's only we're looking at other options around 500K. If you're going to dish out another 100K for a premium option in Harry Grant, I like it. My only issue is, the last 2 years he has started slow. His first 6, 57.2 and 59.3 average in the last 2 years, but that's already better than what we're talking about with Blake Brayley. So, but the year before was 76.7 in his first 6. So I'm leaning towards Harry if I start with a gun hooker. I don't think I'm going to go that way just yet, but I really, really like the option. Timmy, where do you stand on Harry?
I really like him too. So I'll definitely be starting with one of these 2 guys. I think it'd be very unlikely that I won't have one of them. I won't have both. I won't have both. So I have to pick. With Harry, I mean, 606K, average only 62 last year. Every other year prior, like 2024, 2023, 22, 21, 20, was all 70-plus averages. So he's 10 points below his average there.
He's always above 700K, eh?
Yeah, so I feel like that's it. He has been sort of down-ticking a little bit over the last couple of years and what he's averaging, but I don't feel like he's going to continue to down-tick. I feel like that was a bit of an off year. It'll definitely be up a bit. One thing, if you take out he played Penrith and the Dogs, and he scored 26 and 25 against both of them, so really struggled against the big defensive sides. But if you take those games out, his average is 67. So I know he's obviously going to play them at some point. Yeah, 67.
But then you look at the opening draw and he's versing a lot of those big defensive sides. I know it's in the start. He's got Panthers in the start. He's got the Broncos in the first 5.
But he also has Para, Dragons and the Cows in the first 3.
Cows, but...
In the first 3?
No. It goes Para...
Oh, in the first 4.
The first 4, yeah. Para, Dragons, Broncos, then
Cows.
Cowboys, yeah. But the issue I still have there is that, like, I'm looking at Para and I'm seeing an improved side from Parramatta.
Yeah.
And even the Dragons, like I know they're probably not going to come out firing, but
it's not going to be like them sort of mid-season when the wheels are falling off or whatever sort of thing.
Like, I just think like what Sav said with starting slow and then like, I think he's a good option if you're going to go premium, but I'm just so unsure about that. So I said it in the drive here with you guys. The store makeup, they always come good, but I just kind of want to watch them for a little bit. Like, who's going to take the lead? They've got no Pappenhausen, so we know Forlongo can do a job, but still, they've got to adjust to him being the permanent fullback now. Their whole strike and their points come from Jerome Hughes and Lisi Katoa. That was used so much. I see now, Lasardi, who I rate, but same thing. He's now been promoted to a bigger role if he gets that starting role. If not, they could look at Jack Hetherington. Either way, there's a couple new combos they've got to do. You could then go the flip side of this and go, hang on a minute, maybe the Storm maybe Harry Grant has to do more. But to me, it could go either side there, but to me, it's too many question marks. If I get it wrong and he goes 90 and he just looks like a beast, like you said, if I went a mid-range, it's only going to cost me 150 to get him. In our previous years, if you did that, in a trade, but
it was impossible.
For someone that blitzes through trades and that at the start, I'm not too worried about trades. When I'm picking a starting side, I'm assuming I'm going to get a few wrong, and that's okay.
Yeah, I'm obviously sort of of the mindset that if I'm only going to save 100K on another player that's a bit mid-range and there's less pedigree and less, you've just less big scores you've seen in the history of what they do, I'd just rather just trust in a guy for an extra 100K more in Harry. Like, it's pretty cheap. It's super cheap. But then for me, then I'm starting to go, do I want to spend 50K for that potential killer upside that Brayley showed last year? I don't know. But it depends I'm interested to hear which middies around the 4 that you're kind of keen on.
Yeah, we'll get to them. I've got 2 on my side currently, but talking about both of these, when you put them head to head, I'll probably pick Harry Grant slightly over Brayley after hearing both.
I feel a little bit safer with it.
50K is a big difference. And to me, going and want someone in the 400s, I just think with that extra 150, if you could turn, like, say, someone into, like, being able to get a Carraz with that extra 150 and he goes nuts from the start, all of a sudden, then getting the mid-range is worth it. Like, there's a lot of moving pieces, but nonetheless, you couldn't talk anyone out of picking Brayley or Grant from the start.
I think I like Harry a lot more, but like if you're looking at the draw, which I don't love to do, the Parramatta matchup looks really juicy round 1, but
I don't think it's as juicy as
I know that I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that, and I feel like these juicy matchups really early on, like round 2, it's a bit of a false narrative. If they've got a good first 2 games, then there's every chance that these less sides are going to want to come out and prove something, while the better sides kind of warm into their season a lot more. I kind of prefer someone to have just a normal draw the first 2 weeks and then let it open up after round 3, 4, 5, because that's when the scores start to open up a little bit. So the fact that he is playing Para, I think Para round 1 last year under a new coach, they're figuring out so much, learning all the systems. They're going to be a lot better this year. They're not going to put on 60 on the Parramatta Eels. I can guarantee you that. They're at $3.06 to win this game, Parramatta. I think there's every chance they win it.
They love an upset against the Storm. Like, obviously,
Storm have got that first round thing, though, that they haven't lost for like 21 years or something like that.
Yeah,
so.
that's true. Penrith couldn't do it last year. So.
Yeah, but Melbourne are as vulnerable as they've ever been in the last.
They've been preparing for this from about 5 years ago, this game.
Pretty much. So he's in the black book, I would say. Yeah?
Yeah, 100%.
Is he in anyone's side at the moment?
Yeah, he's in mine at the moment.
He's in yours.
Yeah.
He's not in mine, but I think he's the one that I want to get to for sure. Jeremy Marshall-King, 603,700. You done anything on him, Timmy?
A little bit, like nothing too much. He had 3 tons in 19 games, like including a score of 99. He always just seems to average between 56 and 62. So, I mean, he's really consistent and he's at that sort of price where if you've just got a good feeling about him, you're a JMK guy, and there's plenty of them out there that just sort of love him, and you could just give him a whirl, I think, to start the year 2 and just see how he goes. I mean, at that price, though, it's exactly the same price as Harry. I'd prefer Harry. I'd just rather trust in that. And then for an extra 50, I'd rather, because JMK has a great running game. It's like that's what he's got, that sort of quality that what we love about Brayley as of the late of last year. But yeah, I just feel like for an extra 50K, I'd be rather trust in Brayley a bit more It was so consistent, and he replicated it week after week after week. So that's why I'm like, it's hard to, if you're looking at 3 shirts in the shopping centre and then there's like a shit, he's kind of the shit shirt, and then you narrow it down to the 2 ones. They always say you should decide things in
It's kind of
threes.
like you see 2 Billabong shirts, one's $50, the other's $55, and then you see a piping hot shirt.
Piping hot, good old
but
piping hot.
it's $50 as well.
Yeah. I used to have a few piping hots.
He averaged 82.6 in the last 6. So, once again, the scores opened up back then. But I think with the Dolphins, a lot of their forward pack were injured throughout the year. They're going to be healthy come round 1. Tom Flegler potentially back. Dan Safidi, Francis Molo. They've got a bunch of good middles, and it looks like they'll only get better year on year. So, he can only benefit from that. But yeah, I'm with you with the same price as Harry. What are your thoughts on him, Mikey?
Yeah, so the key is whether or not you think the Dolphins are going to improve on what they did last year. They started so well last year, and I think they'll start well. Their first couple's not too bad. They start with, I think they got Titans in round 2, I think I was looking at, and then they've got someone else pretty good.
Yeah, so they got Bunnies
at the start, and like even though you think Bunnies are going to improve, I think it'll take time. So, and then Sharks in round 3, like it's not too bad. But like you said, I think most years when you look at JMK, you look at him because he's about $100K cheaper than the top hookers. But this year he comes in at the same price, so it's hard to kind of pick him over Harry Grant. Even if you're going, I'm just going to antipod Harry and do that. Like, I don't feel comfortable doing so when I can get Harry Grant for the same price.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to like exceed it. He could do his job, but I don't think he's going to make money or anything like that.
There might be a chance that he picks up attacking stats, right, and Harry Grant doesn't. And maybe for the first 3 to 5 rounds, he does average a bit more. But I'd be surprised if over the season that he averages more than what Harry Grant. Because you picking Harry Grant, he's staying in your side all year unless he gets injured. Even over the origin period, he's someone that you're not really going to trade unless you need to. So that's a difference with someone like Hagan. Where Jeremy Marshall-King, he gets injured.
He's going to get injured, yeah.
He gets injured a hell of a lot of the time, and you probably know that he's going to have to come out at some point. But he's the kind of guy I'd look at for goodbye coverage. I haven't dug into who's got coverage, but he's a guy that you probably look at closer to that period if their run's good.
Yeah, if you're expecting buy coverage talk this early in the preseason, we're not looking at that. We're probably
going to come from me.
Yeah, we're focusing on at least the first 10 rounds at max, up until Magic round at least. Timmy, Black Book?
No. I'm just going to let the luck. You can't have them. You can't have them all. Confusing yourself with too much, narrow it down. So yeah,
I agree. Connor Watson comes in at 574,000. He was very popular in a lot of teams.
He was all over him last year. Came in and out. Yeah.
Unlike the other hookers, though, he averaged lower in the back end of the season when Ueli. Benai Yellow came into the side. I assume with Robson coming into the side, he moves to lock. And I just think the minutes are uncertain. He might start at lock and it might look attractive, but then Victor Radley is still yet to come into that side. I think it's round 4 or round 7.
He'll probably play on the edge, Radley.
Yeah, but then you've got Sul Wong, who is on the edge. Does he fill middle spots? I think that those 3 split minutes. It's gonna be a bit of a mind boggle.
It could be exciting for him. The good thing about with having Robson go to the club, at least that locks up that Robson's probably going to spend a lot more time at hooker. Connor Watson was better when he was playing at lock and he was a bit more having his hands on the ball.
Yep.
So when you did have Connor Watson, you'd like sort of be a bit just relying on the tackles.
Yeah.
Maybe the occasional run until he moved out, and you're like, all right, now there's a bit of
that's true.
Bit of craftiness. So if he's just all playing that role, it could lift him a little bit. I'm a little bit hesitant too, just because of the unknown of the minutes and stuff, and maybe just being a little bit sort of not doing the job for me completely last year. I'm sort of just more interested in those like Harry's and Brayley's.
The guns on mid-rangers. I think he's just too awkward. He's too close to Harry. Like,
yeah,
too many
he's funny in the price-wise. Yeah, 25K off Harry.
Yeah, there's every chance he plays number 14 when Victor Radley comes back as well.
I was going to say that, but the big thing too is Owelu. He would become pretty, like, he was starting over him at some points, and he played in the international side this year, so it's like, what's his role going to be? I feel like they've invested a bit into him, so realistically, like, Robson is an 80-minute hooker, and then you've got Owelu there now. Like, I just don't know where these minutes are going to break up. If they do pick Owelu, then it's like, okay, so what's Robson going to do, and then what does that mean for Watson? Like, I just don't know.
What's the dynamic in the breakup?
I need to see the dynamic. It's one that, like the Roosters lineup, each year it seems to get better and you always go all in on them and then they don't perform as well as he did. But this year I think they can. But even with we're going to
get dragged into it every year.
We're going to get to Robson at the pro. Robson isn't the mid-range row, but when we get down to him, like, I don't know where the makeup of that side's going to go. I need to know. Like, even I don't think Trials is going to reveal the answer, but they spent a lot of money on Robson, and he's an 80-minute gun hooker. Like, he's an origin hooker. Like, it's just a big question to me. Like, what are they going to do? They've got too many guys.
I love Robson as a purchase, and we'll talk about him very shortly, but there are so many question marks still around him just because of all the people in lock. Like,
if you gave me answers, then I'd probably start him as my main hooker, and you'd happily save $100K from Harry Grant in doing that. But you don't know.
He's not.
Watson a big no.
Yeah,
I think let's finish it off. You can't.
What's the opposite of the black book?
That'd be the red book, wouldn't it?
A red book.
Yeah, like it's like the red. It's no. It's
like a red card. Like in soccer. Like
and because this one's actually green, that's like the poor thing.
The green is good, and red is
green is good. Red is bad. I like it.
But yeah, not saying he's not going to be an option at some point later. It just depends on what the role, because this guy's super versatile, but.
More of an orange book, like, because it's not one. We're not ruling that together. It's just orange flags, a bit of a warning.
Yeah. Okay, I like it.
Yeah, but I feel if anyone's going to be in the red book, it'd be Connor Watson, just based on what we believe the role is going to be now. Like, there's no way I could even remotely touch him at that price, like you said.
He does seem a victim to his versatility.
Only because they signed Robson. If they didn't sign Robson, you probably could put a case for they got Cherry now. Yep, he could be a good buy. But the fact that they've signed Robson, I can't for now.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think he spends most of his time in the middle. I think there's every chance that...
He probably still plays about 60, 65 minutes for him.
Then he's an option, but you don't know, because then you look at their young guys. They've got Steve, Fiketti. Like, they are stacked of option. Wong, if they put Radley into... They've got too many guys at the moment, like good young guys, plus with their experience. So it's tough. Like, good news if you're a Roosters fan, but just picking based off Supercoach... I need to see all the minutes of these guys.
His last two seasons were pretty much copy and paste, average 59 and 60 each year, respectively, and then minutes were 68 and 69, respectively. So basically, same minute share, same scores.
But now different. We're back to a role.
He'll be less at hooker.
So he's price based on getting the minutes.
So that's what.
But towards the back end last year, he didn't get the minutes. Like, he was playing 45 minutes,
and then it shows you gives you a glimpse of what you could get from the start.
Yeah. So I think last year he scored so well because it was based on what they had available with them. Now there's so many options that can fill his spot. Like, they didn't have backup hooker. Like, Brendan Smith was out the year. Now they've got 3 hookers. Uelu's come on.
3 good hookers.
Yeah, exactly.
Hookers.
And they seem to like him too, that yellow.
Yeah, for some reason, I think he's going to play in the starting side.
I doubt,
not in the starting side.
No, I think he'll be on the bench.
Yeah,
I'd be surprised. Like, I'm no Roosters fan, but I think with the amount they've invested to him, he played for Samoa, was it this year? I think he'll be... I think he'll be the 14, but then what the hell? Robson, is he going to switch into lock and then share minutes with Watson?
Potentially
so much.
65 minutes. Like, Hainsey loves him.
But it's a little bit handy. I like how they've got all that sort of cry. It works for the Dogs sometimes, just having those guys you can just sort of plug here, there, everywhere.
Yeah,
it just
it's
makes
true.
Any sub-off sort of...
And I know Robbo loves to, like, all his middles, he loves them to play edge. He loves his edges to be able to fill in the middles, like Nat Butcher, Egan Butcher. There's those players as well who need to fill in minute spots as well. So, he's out for me. I haven't done notes on every single player. I've just done them on the relevant ones. So Starling, Coruscant, Verrills, nothing on them.
Yeah, I'm not too interested in Starling at the price.
I think especially with Brayley coming to the club, it's just like, I know he's...
It's another headache.
For me, it's
another headache.
The
same thing with the Roosters.
It just seems like he'll be begging for more minutes over Brayley, I think.
But then Starling had such a good year last year. So does Brayley now become the kind of guy that they're not going to use?
Yeah.
It's a headache. They've replaced it. It used to be like when Danny Levi was out. Now it's like the same headache. It's such a weird signing. I think they made that signing before Starling went on a tear. But now... And then they re-signed Starling.
Well, Starling wasn't going to re-sign with the club, but then he did re-sign, so...
he was getting 64 minutes still last year, so he was still getting really good minutes for the year.
And he has those big attacking games, and you know me, I love Starling. I'm
Starling
fanboy, but there's no way you can touch... I think Raiders will perform well yet again, but yet again, that's just another headache. You've got to kind of choose these... For the prices, choose the clear-cut guys where you know their role.
Yeah.
Harry Grant and Blake Brayley, you're spending that extra money, but you know their role.
Yeah.
These kind of guys are, 50, 60K cheaper, and you are gambling.
Yeah. And like Tom Starling, there's no chance, like he's re-signed for 2 years. There's no chance Owen Paddy plays 15 minutes off the bench for the next 2 years. Like,
he was so good too.
They were playing Starling through the middle a bit, so maybe that doesn't.
I would say Paddy comes on and plays 30 at least this year, like with another preseason under his belt, because like it's just
And he was
stunting.
there nearly every game too.
Yeah, it's just stunting his growth. Stunting his growth, not getting like, especially the fact that Starling was an Iron Man and never got injured. Like, you can't just leave your future superstars on the bench like that. And I think they'll want someone like Paddy to have, especially with the kicking game, with Fogarty leaving the club. I think, Owen Paddy plays more minutes.
And we'll just brush over Appy. Just a quick one on him. Like, I know he's got to buy the first round.
That's what makes it hard. If you didn't, then you might be able to sell
It's
me a case
draw.
where
He's got a mad draw, bro.
but
It's
if you didn't
Cows,
have a
Bunnies,
buy-
Wars, Para, Newcastle. Like, all those 5 teams in a row, none of them are like top 8 material.
And at the price, there's opportunity with that draw too. But the buy throws you off. I'm not going to spend $5.26 on a buy in the first round.
Actually, when I say they're not top 8 material, they kind of, some of them are. Like, I mean, Para might, Wars might, Bunnies are probably 2.
But to me,
Like,
that still
they're-
smells points. I don't think all those teams are going to become defensive stalwarts. And
The other thing too I'll note on him is Appy's gone like scored like in the 50s and then in the 60s alternative for years. So this last year was his off year 55, and then so he's due for a 60 something average this year. He's done it for the last like 6-7 years in a row.
Talon De Silva.
Oh, fucking hell.
Talon De
I
Silva
hate that.
come off the bench quite a bit last year. Are they going to use that Tristan Hope or that spare hooker, or is he going to play big minutes? Like, it feels like his minutes have been dropping off year on year. Is it going to continue like that, or have they got someone there that can spell him? I want to see who they use in the preseason.
He's exciting too. He's got upside too when he clicks. He's just been a bit off he's been in and out a bit. He could be one of those guys that do sort of be, he's a decent pod, but at the price, there still seem like there's better options.
Feels a bit stuck in
But the Tigers, they need results, and they're going to have to look at guys like this to get the results of all the crap. But with all that crap that's gone on in the offseason, kind of makes me weary about picking any Tigers plays unless they're cheapies. So I think just guys like this, I think you can quickly say that they're not an option now, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about them as a potentially buy later.
Yep, 100%. Verrills, Wade Egan, honestly, like...
There's always a case of Wade
Yeah,
Egan,
I know.
because
So,
when he's not injured or concussed, he's an option.
yeah, so I've written something down on him. I feel like I wouldn't have even considered it, but every year he's always a topic in this podcast in particular. He's a first 5 specialist, averaged 70.6 in his first 5 last year, 67 in the first 5 in 2024, 80.5 in his first 4 in 2023. But I think there's a difference this time. And I think Sam Healy, Sam Healy is someone.
Freak, man.
He's someone who I'm way more interested in than Wade Egan this time of year.
He's a wild price though too.
He might have an old Paddy kind of role, but
he might, yeah. Whereas in the past, Wade Egan has been an 80-minute guy. But I think Sam Healy's played so good that...
I think he's the future, but I don't think the future will be now. The Warriors had a pretty successful year. They're going to stay with that same kind of blueprint. And you saw last year when Egan went down, Healy went in there and done an awesome job. You know that if a big injury happens, like if say Egan got injured in the preseason and was going to be out for the first 8 weeks, you don't even think about it. You start with Healy because he shows, like when Harry Grant come in as a cheapie, he went from 0 to hero. He's the kind of player that I believe could do the same. But yet again, a lot of the sides there's still question marks at the positioning, and that's always going to be a hot topic when we're talking about this far out from the season. But yeah, I don't know. If Healy's on the bench, I don't like Egan.
I don't like Wade Egan as an option. I just feel
I prefer to go cheaper.
Those big averages you spoke of in the early part of the season, he had a big 110 in the round 2, which bumps that up.
Warriors went massive last year in the first 5 too.
Yeah.
So can they do that again?
So whether that's, he does that again. And then it's he had heaps of 40s and 50s. I'll just kind of pretty... And
you bought him at one point last year, didn't you?
Yeah, for a while. He did. He was part of one of the reasons I didn't sort of kick on and do better.
And he was one of those guys that you were so mad and complaining about nearly
fuck.
every week. He was the one I remember he was a big time. He's like,
my 2, probably my biggest heartbreakers for the season.
It was probably mine for the year before as well. But this is the time of year where he's always been a specialist. But that being said, like he's only 70k less than Harry
think just
Grant,
losing the AFB didn't help him last year too.
100%.
I think there's many big like opportunities to
for
just
sure.
have that crush over him.
So yeah, I'm definitely off him, but I'm keen to talk about Healy once we get to him at his price. Damien Cook, 526, 500. Him or Little, I'm not considering unless one of them gets injured.
Yeah, then all of a sudden, I think you got to buy
either of them. Either weapons.
Of them.
Weapons. Sandon Smith, I'm very interested in. Rumours are he plays number 7 for the Newcastle Knights, and they've been training that way with Dylan Brown at number 6.
That'd be good because then Brown would get 5'8".
Get the 5'8" jewel.
Yeah.
We would love that. He's priced at a 52, but without his bench games, he averages a 58. I don't hate it, but he might not be goal kicking.
That's what I was going to say. Do you think he'll kick over Ponga?
Ponga.
But Ponga's not
He's not
groundbreaking kicker, so I feel like if Ponga was to kick crap, or maybe they just go, hey, we want to take a little bit of pressure, don't worry about the kicking, Ponga, focus more in play because he had a bit of an off year, and then maybe, like if Sandon Smith had the goal kicking and all of a sudden, is there any other goal kicking hookers right now?
Not really, and
I know he's not going to be playing hooker, but you can get him with hooker.
I think that's why I really like him because compared to all these other hookers, he's actually got upside.
That's why I wanted Watson last year. I like the idea of having the unknown upside of a player that's got his hands on the ball in open field rather than just distributing it, you know what I mean? So, yeah, if he was playing halfback and he was kicking, I'd be super keen on him.
But the issue about that is the Knights have options. Like last year, they bought Brown and Smith over the club, but they still have all these other halves. So if they don't perform...
The difference is, new coach Justin Holbrook, I don't think they're going to play with the halves like they did. I think he's getting 10 games at least.
I think it's got to be him and Dylan Brown.
Yeah,
but he might not even get picked. They could go Fletcher Sharp. They got Gamble. Hopefully, he doesn't go down that game route. But like, there is a lot of talent there, and if something's not working, then yeah, you're probably right. He might give him 5 games, and that's enough to kind of gauge him. But I'm still thinking about that in the back of my mind.
Yeah, Adam O'Brien was playing for his job. He was trying to win week to week. Holbrook's a lot smarter. He's a very good attacking coach. He was the attacking coach for the Roosters over the last 2 years. So it's why I'm very keen on Ponga this year because the way James Tedesco's performed, 600K, can't wait to talk about fullbacks. But I think Sandon Smith, like, given this is going to be his team, compared to last year, like, he's got everything to play for. Last year, he no matter how good he was going to do, he was always going to leave that position, whereas this is his jersey to grab.
To bring the attack to the side too that they were lacking as well and sort of steer them around, which I think I mean, Dylan Brown's going to be help with that, but he's a runner. So
to be honest, you're bringing up a lot of good points. I think if he's starting at halfback and potentially kicking goals is good because they actually, like I know they didn't have a great year last year, but they have a lot of good outside backs with potential scoring points. They're just missing the conductors, and him and Dylan Brown would make a good combo because it would allow Dylan Brown just to play his game. And look at how Dylan Brown played in the internationals. It's like I can't pick him at halfback right now, but if you went to 5, it'd be a different story. But yeah, a halfback at hooker, I don't mind it. 520 is your main, or 506K, and then you could probably stash. You could go with that a mid-ranger at 400K. I'm happy to spend 900K on 2 hookers there.
I'll tell you what I hate though, like 100K difference from Harry.
Yeah,
this is going to be the main selling point, right?
That's when I start going, well, I got excited because I'm like, he's got that big 129 that he scored last year. I didn't play him. All you guys did because I had a better hooker in my side and you guys didn't. So you guys just had to play him and it pissed me off.
Someone had to buy that week, eh? And we were forced to play him.
Yeah.
I didn't play him that week. I didn't play him that week either.
You had to play him or something like that.
I can play him. I had him.
Yeah, and so like he's got that in him. But then when you think about it, for that, like
only getting better too.
JMK had 3 tons. You get 2 more tons for an extra 100K. You know what I mean? Like the more frequency of putting out those tons.
The difference is Sandon only played. What, 20 games? 21 games?
26 games.
26 games.
Oh, no, sorry. That's how many games he's played halfback. Ditch what I just said.
Just to chuck in Cowboy, Manly, Warriors is their first 3. Like, I wouldn't say super easy, but that isn't bad either.
Yeah.
I like the Knights versus Cowboy. That matchup smells like points to me. No matter how you look at it.
And you get him in Vegas. You get to lock him in early in Vegas, so that's always exciting.
But also sometimes when the tactics push comes to shove, you might not want to lock that in 500K on a hooker when there's all these other
I think he's a nice option, but I think you'd need to be super confident that he's just gonna.
Well, yeah. What can you do with 100K you save?
Because otherwise, at that 5, like without goal kicking, he averages 42 points at halfback, and it's had 26 games there.
You have to have the
with goal kicking averages 51, which is where he's priced at.
Yeah.
So
you just have to think the club is going to the difference. Like the Roosters have
their attack was shit. They're going to attack shitter than what the Roosters was. Like
that's also a fair point because he was scoring so well because of the attack he was.
They got more pizzazz.
Yeah, but they've also got a lot more players that steal the attacking stats off him.
No, but he's conducting it. It's like it's not them stealing it.
Yeah.
Whether he's going to be a part of it or he's not a part of it, he's either setting it up.
But Tedesco's a kind of player like when he's on the ball, he does steal from other players. 100% he does. He steals like no other player can.
It's the same as Ponga. I'm trying to think of a good example for other clubs. Like, who has gone to a club and got more because the side is less? Like, let's say Nico Hines. Like, did he get better going to the Sharks?
We definitely got more. And the first year was at the Sharks, he was killing it, especially SuperCoach-wise.
Like, he had that in him
Played a different position, though, too.
Yeah, he had that in him SuperCoach-wise prior.
Still worked. Like, he went to a side and immediately become the conductor. We're not saying he's going to be the conductor over Brown, but I feel like if they set 2 new halves in there, they're going to go, look, here's your chance to make a statement, and they're either going to go boom or bust.
Adam Reynolds.
Yep.
Adam Reynolds, better SuperCoach-wise at Brisbane.
He become the conductor.
Had less to work with at the start, but he has more to work with now, and he's.
But it's probably.
I feel like when Reese Walsh is in the side, he scores more.
Flourishes.
Right?
He will have flourishes of good games where it's like, oh man, he had an extra couple of try assists and kicks. If he's kicking, he'll be like more goals in one game because they've smashed someone or whatever. But there is going to be those low ones too. It's like Adam Reynolds. So I don't know. I at the price, I feel like if he was, I like the idea of him, but you can just spend $100K more. And you've got Harry Grant, he's
also available at 5'8", a pretty troublesome 5'8" position. I think there's merit there.
You could even potentially go 5'8", because when you get into the 5'8" deep dive, like that's a wasteland at the moment unless they start adding some jewels. So potentially you could go that with the cheapie.
Like I've got Cody Walker in there at the moment. I much prefer Sandon.
Yeah, I've got 2 cheapies at 5'8". I don't know.
I'm not going to give mine away yet.
That's why I've got $1 million in the bank. So I've got 200K.
Yep.
Cheapies.
All right. He's in the black book though. I reckon. Oh, is he in the green?
Yeah,
is he in yours? I saw you write down. Yeah. Okay. Sweet.
Yeah, I think he was one that I wouldn't have had in mind before, but now definitely he's someone that I just kind of pinned
interested.
Up.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people listening will probably disagree with the
Put some feelers
take. I think a lot of people think we're crazy, but I think this is the point of these. It's a deep dive in the plays you don't normally think of. That's the whole point of this.
100%. Reese Robson, 497,400, very down year last year. At a side like the Cowboys, who struggled with middles, he moves over to a club with a barnstorming Nafahu White, Lindsay Collins, Connor Watson, good leg speed,
good youngsters.
Spencer Lenu coming off the bench, Blake Steep doing his thing. Like the forward pack is night and day. Like probably one of the better forward packs in the comp compared to one of the worst.
And he's got Cherry Evans and he's got Tedesco and he's got Sam Walker. Like you look at this Roosters lineup and you go far out.
That's my issue. And as we talked about the role. How many minutes does he not get? 80 minutes? Because these past few years, he's got 80 minutes and he's still regressing a little bit. So
the difference is a side butt, which could propel him. But
is there too many chefs in the kitchen?
I think so. I said it the exact same chat with the Connor Watson. I need to see the makeup. Not only just see, I need to see how it performs and what they're going to do. They now bring in they've got a different hooker, a different half. Yeah, 2 gun players. But is there too many chefs in the kitchen? Does it all work out? Yeah, I think it will. But for me, 497, you could definitely take the punt. If your punt doesn't work, it's 100K to Harry, or there's a couple guys that are a little less that I'm keen on. But I just don't know he's going to get 80 because, like I said, I think Awelu's Benai's going to be in there. So I just need to have I think he'll be very highly owned. I think when SuperCoach goes official, I think he'll be up there as one of the most owned hookers.
The whole new club, new role, sort of
gun hooker going to a better club and a club that you look at that line and go top 4.
And it's the unknown of it, where you're kind of like...
But as a SuperCoach, you digress and you look back and you go, wait a minute, there's too many hookers there. A hooker goes down, but even if it's just...
He's going to be the main guy. He's definitely their main hooker. He's 100% their main hooker.
He's an 80-minute hooker, but does he play 80?
He doesn't
play 80.
Yeah, he might not play 80.
You'd say probably, he might, but I don't know.
But I feel like he'd be playing pretty close. I feel like if he got at least 70, he'd be probably fine at that price.
He's an origin hooker and he's played 80 pretty much the last 3 or 4 years. So I don't know if they take too much off him. He'll play a very similar role to Connor Watson in the past few years, like 65, 70 maybe. I still don't think you can buy him at that.
He's an option, but he's not a slam dunk. He's someone that, whether you might not put him in his book, he's on your watch list. And you watch him. But I just don't want to load up on too many of these Roosters with unknowns. More interested in a couple of the other guys.
I think in the past also we've been trapped into buying these gun players going to new clubs, especially like the Roosters, thinking they're going to get this massive uptick in minutes, uptick in points. And it usually takes a while for spines to kind of gel and kind of get their rhythm together. I think the last one in particular was Sandon Smith coming to the Roosters at 400K. The difference with that is I think Reese Robson fits into the Rooster style of play a lot more than Sandon Smith did at the time.
Seems like he's a smoother operator.
Yeah, so I feel like he'll just do exactly the same thing as what he did at the Cowboys, but just play eyes up footy. Like there's got to be points within the middle forwards. They're not just going to score points through their back. So I think there's definitely opportunities there, but it's the minutes that worry me.
I'm interested too. Like I feel like I don't think he'll underperform. I think provided he doesn't get silly like a stupid minute, just like 45, 50 or something like that while he's finding his feet at the new club or whatever. I doubt that's going to be the case. It should be at least 60. And you'd think if he's going to play 20 minutes less, he'll probably go a bit harder in that time as well too, to make up, like have a higher PPM.
It's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So I'm slightly interested, especially if because we all sit there now and I'm sitting there saying I've got all this extra spare cash, but when push comes to shove and we're actually trying to fit in this guy who I now definitely want in my centre wing too, and I also want this premium second rower and all this, you'd then go, and where am I going to find 100K from? And it's always hooker. So
yeah, that's true.
That's when you could start going, I don't think I do have 600K. I've only got sub 5, and that's when you start entertaining these sorts of players then. And he'd be at the top of that sort of 500K.
See, the other reason to get to is there's a couple guys closer down that 400 mark that I prefer because I think they're going to get closer to more minutes. And then if I'm already not getting Harry Grant and saving 100K, if I can get a 420K player, then I'm saving 180K, which is a lot. So that's kind of what I'm looking early. Just because I see there's a lot of, there's a lot of options here and the prices aren't too bad. Like, you could take a punt on Robson. 500's not bad.
His best season is only 64 too, which, the 14 points value there in the price. But looking at these other options, like, you're probably going to sell him to a Harry anyway or like a Blake Brayley. You're not really going to hold on to him the whole season.
He's going to play Origin most likely. Yeah, Brayley
exactly.
could come for his spot. But
I think
you've got to assume he is, but
if he was 100K cheaper, you could definitely entertain it, but there's not that much value there. Is he in the black book? Like, I feel like he should be.
I think he should be, just as to not disregard him altogether and just have him there as like in your back pocket if you need him.
And new club, like.
Get a sniff around the trials. How's he look?
We've got to be out of here at 5:30.
What's the time?
So we have.
We're gonna
All right. So he's in the black book. Ben Hunt, 482,400. Not looking at him. Peter Mamazelos, Jacob Little. I mean, Jacob Little's at a good price. So obviously, if the Cook injury comes through, then yes. Sam Healy, 429. In games over 40 minutes, he averaged 78.6.
He's not going to get those minutes, though.
No. Like I said, if there was an injury in the preseason. It's silly
to talk about until there is an injury, really.
If there is one in the preseason, then if Egan's out for the first 10 weeks, I start with Healy.
He's the number one mid-ranger, and it's not even the stats there, because like 40 minutes, obviously, limited game time, there's limited sample size. It's just the eye test for me.
But also the Warriors are performing in the New South Wales Cup. Like Penrith just rated like 4 guys from that winning New South Wales Cup side, and these guys that are coming in now, they spent a lot of time there. They're guns. And I think that you can also apply that to SuperCoach because they're coming in forming a winning formula.
There's a guy named Kalani going to the Panthers.
Yeah. Lucky I was waiting for that one.
Mitch Kenny. He's not in the. He can't be in the black book yet. Sam Healy, can he?
No. He goes straight into that book. He's like an injury.
If an injury happens, he's straight in my side. No Freddie Lussick or no one like Tamari Martin won't.
Yeah, well, they lost 2 of their hookers. Like Kalani Golan was playing lock, but he can play hooker, so they've lost him as a backup, and they've also lost Fred Lussick.
Yeah.
So he's
to Penrith.
Yeah, both to Penrith. But yeah, they've lost a bit of depth there.
Mitch Kenny and Jake Simkin, 422,700. This tops off our Kyle McGrath best value for tax return. option. If you need a tax return done for $110 for a basic one, head over to carlmcgrathaccounting.com.au. Let him know you're coming from our show and he'll sort you out if you've got something more complicated. But Jake Simpkin, he headlines the Carl McGrath Accounting best return in your investment segment. In games over in 80 minutes, he averaged 62. That's all I got. He played 80 minutes late in the season, a couple of games. I think it was like 5 or 6, 62 points. That's exactly what you want from someone that price, someone you're willing to just let go of as soon as...
Who else have they got there now?
Well, you're the Manly fan. Didn't they lose that backup hookup?
Gordon Chancum-Tong is gone.
Right. He's gone.
They've got this like...
Lachlan Croker's medically retired now. So it all smells like a good role.
I think there's an avenue that there's like this young guy. They posted a photo of him with his dick out. Did you see that?
Who? The Manly's cop?
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. I swear to God.
Oh, we're at 2026. This is our content now.
Hold on. I'll show you.
This.
There is this young guy, but Jake Simpkin's the main guy there.
They normally like to have a backup hooker though. Like
they don't have one.
If they don't name it to me. I have him in my side.
Is he an 80-minute guy? Oh, what? Did they do it on purpose?
No, that was posted by Fox League.
That's outrageous.
Oh, God, is he a hooker?
Yeah, he's a hooker.
That's outrageous.
Like
so
in
for
footy?
people playing
A male hooker.
people playing at home, it wasn't the Manly club that posted it.
No, it was Fox League. It says an 18-year-old fresh out of
so you got to chuck in allegedly and stuff like that. Otherwise, we get taken to court. And what it was just an action shot of a player, just ball in hand. Looked like he was about to do a sidestep, but
ball also not in hand.
Yeah, the meat and potatoes had just sort of pocked out the bottom of the shorts there.
But yeah, for me, he's one of my mid-range picks.
I knew you'd be starting with him.
For me, like he's everything like increased role. It's like when I picked Starling last year. I believe increased role. Manly have a lot to prove this year, and if he's playing even like 65 minutes plus, based on what he averaged last year, it's like Starling went into the previous year with that last 5 runner gains, killing it. Started with him. Did the same, and I believe Simpkin's done that. He would have to get the role. If there was a hooker utility, I'd be a little bit weary. But at 418, it's a good price. I said it in the van. I don't want to start with. That seems seedy, but
in the van.
I don't want to start with 2 hookers. Like you always start with this bottom dollar hooker, and you can't get rid of him. I don't want to have one of those. So to me, he's my one on the bench. But I like him.
So what are you hoping for him? Like you reckon you play close to 80, probably pretty much
could
80?
Play 80, but I'll take 65 minute plus roll. And
points-wise, thinking you could probably get like 55, 60 out of him?
Yeah, where if you think Harry Grant is someone...
Is that a bit wishful thinking, 60?
I'd say about 50. I'd be happy with about 50 at the start with an attacking stat here and there, because think about it. If Harry Grant kind of starts a bit slower and like that for 180k less... I'd be happy with a 50 average.
I brushed over him, hey.
I knew you would. I knew he was in your book, and I think we could convince you otherwise. But if he has the role that he's too cheap to ignore, and I'd happily start with him over Harry Grant.
There's every chance Joey Walsh gets a bench spot and potentially fills in minutes at hooker, but I can't see...
They'll blood him slowly, potentially?
Yeah, I can't see him playing too many minutes. He's a genuine hooker, and they've just re-signed him for 2 years as well. So
and he kept getting more of a role. At the Tigers, we knew this kid was going to be something. He's got to Manly. He's kind of done his apprenticeship, really, and... I think this year they're going to need someone like him to step up, and he passes the eye test. He's young, but he's past that initial, I wouldn't say rookie stage, but I think he's ready to take that. He's either going to take the next step or not.
Yeah. Well, remember when him and Little were sort of going neck and neck at the Tigers with each other?
I just think at 418, I feel like, 422 to be more exact.
Yeah, you're thinking about someone else at 418.
Yeah, who is my other hooker.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know you picked, you thought I was going him and the doggies hooker, but no.
So with Jake Simpkin, in 80-minute games, he played 6 at the end of the season. His lowest score in those 80-minute games, he scored 2 52s. So he scored 64, 69, 52, 52, 73. So he's
pretty good fire round average.
I'm just going to say too, 448's a nice price. Like if it's starting to get to like that 490 where it's only 100k less than
420. So like 422.
Oh, I'm looking at his old price.
No.
Like, when you look in SuperCoach, you've got to look up there.
He's 422. So like, you know what I mean? If you're not taking a starting gun hooker, that's a big price difference, man. You could even run a Harry Grant and a Simpkin.
You could. That'd be perfect.
It's a meal. Like sometimes you'd spend 700 on Harry Grant and take a cheapie.
Yeah.
You can do that, and I'm not against that. But for me, I prefer to do double mid.
My issue is he played a few 50-minute games, 50 minutes for 39, 55 for 39, 65 minutes for 29, 58 minutes for 79, that's pretty good, 69 minutes for 44, 71 minutes for 35. So I think he definitely needs that 80 minutes. But the good thing is there's not much there to take minutes off him. So
Manly do have a bye in round 3, so the only thing there is if your strategy was have Simpkin as your main hooker, I would carry a second mid, which is what I'm doing, because you're going to need, like if you're going to take someone that has a bye in the first 5, I'm okay with it as long as you are planning for their coverage. You've got to, because you don't want to take a 200k cheapie that's getting 20 minutes
I just
and then
think
him score
it is
15.
a big ask to ask like someone of his, like where he's at, like just
You
play
don't
80,
need the
go
world
on.
of 420k. You don't need the world. You just need a stable role.
So like I feel like they might have to find an alternative solution. Like there might need to be another guy that's younger coming through.
Or he takes the role and kills it. And
potentially,
then
but like they've re-signed him in the off-season. They know he's going to be the hooker all pre-season, so he's going to condition himself to be ready for this. And if he doesn't succeed, then he'll be like they'll sign someone else. Like,
as long as you don't go the second cheapy route with there, I feel like you can take a punt on someone.
I agree.
Simpkins. And I think he will. I'm not saying heavily owned, but I think someone like Robson's going to double his ownership, and it shouldn't.
I think he's a better option than Robson.
100%. He's 70k less. He's 70k less, and I think his role is a bit more sure. I know someone would argue no, it's not, but looking at it right
with
now,
the fact that there's less options, that's a great sign. Whereas
they need it, like it's a position they've really missed out on. No Cherry either. And does that mean he's got to do a bit more?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. The thing is, no forward pack as well. Like that
is the killer too. They would need some more in there. But at the end of last year, we saw Navale and all those kind of guys start to slowly step up. I don't think Manly are a top 8 side this year. Sorry, Savs. Like looking at it, like I see, there's going to be games where they kill it, but they're just missing so much in the middle. But there's still always Supercoach opportunity at crapper sides.
100%. They're not a top 8 side. They're definitely more of a top 4 side. So
I'm seeing a more 8th to 13th right now.
I don't know.
Tom can carry him on their back, but their forward pack and they're missing Cherry Evans. Like,
it's true.
Come on, man.
Tom's a big factor, I reckon. If he's like,
he's Fogarty's there, but
yeah.
Oh, we should probably.
All right, let's move on. He's in the black book, and I think he's probably the best. I think he's better than Robson. Did I say that already?
You did say that, yeah. Okay. He's one of my starting hookers. I'd be very surprised if I don't start with him.
Reed Marnie, he was in my initial first team. He's actually still in my team because I haven't changed it since the initial team. But 418,100. I don't think I'll start with him, but he ended the season with a 42 average, finished at 215k, which is crazy. But he only averaged 53 in 80-minute games. Had some 76-minute games with good scores, but I didn't include them in. I think the Cowboys style of footy helps him, but once again, no forward pack. But that being said, I think the Bulldogs kind of style of play didn't require him to be that running spark out of dummy half hooker. I think he'll be needed to do that a lot more at the Cowboys since they're a more attacking style team, and he kind of can. I think a hooker can generate a lot of momentum since the forward pack can't do that. A hooker can, and I think he will benefit off that. So I do like him, and I like him at a fresh club. It's just the forward pack that worries me.
I'm all over Reed Marnie. I like him a lot at the price. Having him and Simpkins, you can play both those hookers, and it kind of they cover each other. The main thing you said, like he's going there he's taking over Robson. Yeah, big shoes to fill. But I thought last year, and I know a lot of Doggies fans will agree with me here, when he was in the side, like sometimes they looked a bit better than I like Haywood, but I just think even though he was going to another club, they should have probably played Marnie a few more times. I think he adds a lot to a club. And to be honest, I know like Marnie's the kind of guy, like you're not going to see him become the highest average hooker, but I just want him to do a start at the start of the season. Cowboys play a very heavy attacking side. I think that's going to benefit him. He's going to have to be well involved. I think it will be an 80-minute role for him. He's taking over Robson.
He's already come out and said he's going to play 80 minutes.
418k. I'm happy to take the punt. If it doesn't work out, it's not going to cost me too much to go up someone like Robson. For me, like I can spend 840k and grab Simpkin and Marnie and grab 2 midi hookers. For me, that seems like the best rate. That's why I'm not spending someone on Harry Grant. If I go cold on one of those 2 guys, then I find the money for Harry Grant. But I think if you're not starting with one of these 2, and if they get the roles we believe they're going to get, I'd be a little bit worried. I think you need one of those two.
I hate talking about
I hate Reese Robson for SuperCoach. Like, he's done my head in so many times. But I'm really considering
new role.
Yeah, I'm really
You've got to consider him. Like
because I think there's probably at least 10 points of value there. Like 2024, average 57.5, 53.5, 2023, and then 54.5. So all mid-50s. Dropped to 43 last year, and it was just the minutes that really... You know, he normally plays 75 to 80 minutes, and it was, he averaged 60 by the end of the season. With all that back end of the year, he had lots of 20-minute, 13-minute games and stuff there. Really threw it out. That's not going to happen, so he's discounted big time. And the draw's great. Like, it's Knights, Tigers, Titans. As much as we say, we don't know how much they're going to turn up, surely they're going to have some fun in that. Like, the Cowboys they're a point-scoring team, so...
they are probably one of the best draws on paper to start.
They have Storm that interrupt after those 3 easy games, but then they go Dragons straight afterwards,
And Cowboys, no matter what, they score points. The defence is pretty woeful, but there's points, and points is great for SuperCoach.
Reed Marnie might have scarred you in years past, but he's never been 418k to start the year as well. So
you're trying to pick him and compete him against. At one point, I remember you saying, "I'll never be like a top scoring guy," but I remember at one stage I used to consider him like he was on par with like Harry and could.
When Eels were in fine form and going really well, the year they won they got to the grand final. Like he was heavily involved.
Yeah, and I think we've last year in particular, we went over his stats early on. Like the first 5 rounds, 6 rounds, he always kills it. Like he's always someone who starts hot, pulls you in, and then starts getting 35s.
But it's not like he's got this, went down in price and got this role just on effort. It was the fact that they decided to go elsewhere with him. They've signed someone else at the club. Or not, sorry, he signed somewhere else. They wanted to just invest all into Hayward, and then he's gone down in price for us. So this is someone where I wouldn't say he was a gun in the past, but he's fallen down from a price because of a signing. And now that presents opportunity for us.
I feel more confident in him than Simpkins. I feel like it's more guaranteed that you'll get, provided the minutes are there. I feel more confident.
I feel like Simpkins got a bit more base, and it's funny how I said I like Simpkin a lot more, and the reason I don't like Marnie is because of the forward pack, but their forward packs are pretty much identical, right?
But the Cowboys forward pack isn't super
yeah,
bad.
well, they've got Cotter and Tamalolo still, so...
That's what I mean, and they still have a decent-ish... And they've got Dearden, and they've got Drinkwater, and the hooker is going to have to tee up with those two guys. To me... I get why decide on one of them when you can have both?
I feel like you're in a nice spot having 2 middies, but I don't think it's for me. I feel like
it's a price, but because
trying
if you
to
go
pick which one to play each week, and one scores better than the other, and that's a pain.
But at the start, with how my side looks right now, I would play both.
Yeah, but
and then you're going to need, if you pick Simpkin, you're going to need one to play when he's not in. If you spend 600 on Harry Grant,
season you would play.
If you pick 600 on Harry Grant, and say you picked a cheapie, I don't think there's a good cheapie, but if you picked one, you're going to spend 830,000 roughly. Right now, I've spent 840,000. So by going 2 middies, I've got the same setup with you getting a gun and someone that's going to play 20 minutes on the bench.
So
when you look at
it, and then you've got 2 playable guys instead of one.
Yep, and then all of a sudden it gives you
awkward in my mind for me to be able to try have Harry and one of these guys. It seems like too much spend.
Then you're spending $1 million, but it's still you can't pick a dog crap hook. That's why it's just a solution.
I was thinking something like Harry and Cheese or break Brayley and Hayward.
Break Brayley.
Those sorts of guys. How
much cheaper? I guess we're running out of time here, but how much cheaper is Hayward?
He's 343. I've looked at him. I'll tell you about him in a second. I'm not very keen, but I actually think that this is where I went wrong last year. Is I went too conservative, trying to get points from every single position in my side. I think to start.
What do you mean conservative? Trying to get points?
Make sure
a prime example for me. Late, I went Olakau'atu to Gilbert and boosted up. I think I had a 300k guy on the second row, moved it up to a 400k guy, and then I got points from someone I wasn't even playing, and then they didn't even make that much money, and then Olakau'atu got a ton. And then I was scrambling to get Olakau'atu.
So you're trying to just get value, you mean?
No. So
you're trying to spread his value amongst everywhere. Sometimes you don't have to get the massivest guy and hooker, because if you can get a guy just a little bit less better, then you can upgrade in another position to go bang.
No, I'm just saying if you go 2 mid-rangers in hooker that aren't high-scoring positions you're spending 800k on it. I know you're spending 800k anyway.
But and neither of them's really putting the points in the I see what you mean
most weeks, eventually you're not going to play both of them anyway, because hooker's not a high upside position.
His argument is though at the start of the year you probably are, because those cheapies you start chucking in
rather than some of these second roles roles like Colquhoun and that we don't know their minutes yet. So I'd be more prompted to play 2 hookers that I believe are going to have better roles.
At the start of the
you
year,
try it round 1. If it doesn't work and you see their minutes, then you play 1. But like you said, Hayward's coming up. If 1 doesn't work, maybe you could go to Hayward. If not, I could go 80K up to, like, I know you want to try and avoid the trades, but I feel like they'll do enough. Even if they get around 40, it's not enough to say panic stations in a hooker position. If we're talking about centre wing or fullback, then it's panic, trade them. But in hooker, I'll take, if 40's my floor, I'll take 40. If I've got another option to choose, it's not like my other guy on the bench is a cheapie at 230K that I have to, I'm stuck playing one of them. That's why I like 2.
Yeah.
Because I can choose or I can play both.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning that way, but I'm a little bit standoffish just because of how last year happened.
Towards, like, I want to start well. You know what I mean? Like, I do want things
but
to
is hooker a spot that you can really dominate in? Like,
no, but if you get it right, I got it right last year. You don't have to worry about it.
It's about where you like have too many you're losing points too. It's not about where you're all about getting those hundreds. It's about when you get too many 30s, 40s there, and you got 3 or 4 of them spread.
But if you get it right from the start, you can do more in other. Like, you don't have to worry about it. It's nice not to have to worry about, my hooker's getting 30 each week. He's like, he's getting 50 to 60. Good.
Yeah, it's funny because we had this conversation late last year with Connor Watson versus Harry Grant. Well, they're not going to score that much difference. It's not going to matter at the end of the season. It mattered.
It didn't matter.
Yeah, it's a really tough one. All right. He's in the black book. He's in the black book.
Yeah, he's in the
green book.
Yeah. Who are we talking about? He's already in there. Yeah.
I'm going to skip through everyone until Bailey Hayward.
Yep.
Bailey Hayward, 343,900. He only averaged 38.6 as the main hooker. Didn't play many 80-minute games. I don't know if he will because they've got Gordon Tongs coming to the side. And
I don't know if he'll go straight on the bench.
Maybe they can't fit him in.
Probably carry utility.
Who knows? They might have a utility. They've got
Leo Thompson.
It's really
now, their forward rotation.
The point you made, 33 minutes, 33-point average over 49 minute games, these 33 points. So, he'd really need to be playing closer to 80. But
he can play lock too, but whether he does.
So
they love him, man. They absolutely
love him. I think he's a good player, but he averaged 38.6 when he was the starting hooker last year. His average is raised from earlier in the year when he got the starting 5'8" role. And that's where I like him a lot more, running with the ball. I think his best attribute is scoring up defense and taking on the line. I don't think hooker is his best position. I think he's going to be a good hooker for the Bulldogs. But I think as we saw with Reece Marnie last year, even when he was the starting hooker, that it was just dish.
And the Dogs do have a bye in round 2. So if you started with him and then one of the other guys, Manly, they have a bye in round 3. So if you had Simpkin and him, you'd be missing one of your hooker for... You'd only have them both playing one out of one time.
That could be a good thing.
That could also work.
Start with Harry and have one of those guys as your backup in case... Or start with a Robson, and if it doesn't work out with Robson, you can downgrade to one of these guys.
I don't hate him, but I just feel like I wouldn't. He's not a slam dunk. At the price, it's good if you really needed to take a pump. I'd prefer to spend the extra 70K, and just based off what I believe the other two guys are, I prefer to do that. But it's an option if I need to skin some money. I don't think he's a bad option at the price because his role's going to be there. The price will be good, and I think the Dogs will start well. The Dogs are. They showed last year. I think
his minutes are going to have to go up, and if they can get an extra 10 minutes per game out of him, then there's going to be value there. He's going to have a whole pre-season where he's working towards that, knowing it's his role. Whereas last year it was just sort of thrust upon him. You know what I mean? He's working it out on the run.
He's a youngster that's going to get better. So.
Yeah, he's like, this is my thing now. You know, they made space for me.
He's cheap. It's really I think it's out of all these cheap options with roles, it's one of the better ones.
I think the other two at 400 are a lot better. That's
my point of view.
You're writing some down, but I don't know if he's black book worthy.
Oh, well, they are, because it depends. If some of these other ones don't...
roll.
Some of them might not... Their roles that we discussed and go
true.
to shit.
I think he's black book worthy because of the price and
the
roll.
Of the rest.
You have to. Yeah.
Let's go through. There's not much else here, to be honest. And Paddy, depending on... obviously, there's 3 hookers at the club, so we can't until he gets a role. Matt Arthur will be interesting because I think at 235,600, I think with a new coach coming to the club, there's every chance starting new...
Gun little hooker,
yeah,
too.
He's a gun hooker.
Gun.
So if he gets a start, he's straight in my side because he's like a very Harry Grant / Paddy type guy. And Brendan Smith.
And then didn't the Knights get Harris Graham? Who got Harris
Yeah, they got
Graham?
Harrison Graham.
And wasn't he from the Dolphins?
Dolphins. So
Yeah.
Harrison Graham's 275. So
he's
there's
another-
every chance they could run like a 1-2 punch combo.
I think a lot of these clubs that have the new coaches, we're going to get some...
Where every chance,
Look at the Broncos last year with Shibasakin, and then he ended up being... you needed him.
Yep.
You had to have him. So the same thing will probably happen next year with the new coaches. I think that's important.
Harrison Graham can play a lot of middle though, so I think he'll be like a bench guy. But I'm definitely keen. I think Matt Arthur. I just got a feeling, like I haven't seen anything, but I got a feeling that
Brayley's left the club now. Well, they still got Phoenix Crossland there.
they do. But I think
He'll
he
have
probably
to.
plays 13 with Adam Elliott gone. Adam Elliott's gone. They don't have many middles to use at 13, so I don't know.
interesting.
We're
There's-
just gonna have to wait and see. Like we're
like the
all
Bunnies.
speculating.
Bunnies and Knights are going to have a lot of new Supercoach
Yeah.
opportunities that we're going to have to explore.
Brendan Smith, 2 games, 58 and 57 minutes last year for 38 and 39. Harley screams anything great. 235,000.
I think he's a big trap. I know it's super cheap, but fuck, we'd have to see an improvement in role.
Well, Bronson Garlic and Peter Mamazelis are at the club, so there's 2 hookers there.
Garlic there next year. See, is Garlic be
Yeah,
someone?
Garlic's there, and then what did he play? 13. They've got Keon and Cameron Murray back. So
I feel like if they can get Cheese towards his best, he's like a good thing to have at their club. It's just a matter of where his headspace is at and
if he's
how hard he's working and things like that.
if he's coming off the bench and this new rule with the interchange kind of comes through, then that kills him as a Supercoach option.
Can you
completely.
clarify what that is?
So the new rule is you can choose 6 players to play on your bench, and you only can use 4. So there's 2 players that can get left out of every game depending on game
Which
situation.
is the worst possible outcome for Supercoach. It's
Especially if you're getting
horrible.
someone like Brandon Smith.
You have
who's
to
gonna
pick more cemented guys that aren't. Like if you're picking
Yeah,
someone
it
on
is
the
a
bench,
headache,
it
isn't
would
it?
kill you.
Oh yeah.
Game dependent. You have a couple of backs there that you kind of like, oh,
Do you hear the other rule that was pitched? The kickoffs?
yeah, that's shenanigans.
Which is also
I feel
crap.
like the more of I hear little whispers of that, feels like it's going to
Last year rules changes were all right. Just let's write like there should be a rule that you can't change the rules every year.
Last
You
year
have
was
to-
the best year of NRL that I've witnessed ever.
It was
And
entertaining to
so
watch. as a- as a
I
entertaining.
reckon the
fan.
4 years prior were way better as a Panthers fan. But
Yeah, but like I mean, entertainment of each game you got, there was way more upsets. There was a lot more like points. Like it was good. I feel like you don't need to change it next year. The 6 bench makes sense, but like
Yeah.
for NRL, not for us.
it's good for the
horrible for us.
for the HIAs. I think
It
perfect,
is the best for
perfect.
play well for yes,
Yes.
but for us, no.
Supercoach would have to make an allowance around that if that was a.
We can use depending on our team's makeup. We can
Give
use
us a
6.
6-man bench. Oh
There'd be
man,
something
imagine
like
that.
There'd have to be like you couldn't be like, oh my guy didn't get a run because
That's a
two
nightmare.
You'd have to
backs
give more
got
trades.
injured and they decided to use 2 backs.
I already think this flex and auto emerge is the 17th player, 18th player dropping out. I think that's. I don't think that was a good thing to come in.
I don't hate it. It doesn't make.
Like,
I like it, but it does make it easy for everyone.
Yeah, it was helpful. It was helpful.
It's fun.
But
I like having the extra
Yeah.
player that I can pick him out. I love the fact we can have 3 fullbacks.
Yeah.
now.
All right, we've talked about an hour and 11 minutes. Ooh, Timmy.
Good sign
What's
for
your
the
number?
season.
Can you read out the black book for us, please?
Yeah, Black Book. Black Book. Blake Brayley,
Break Brary.
Harry Grant, Sandon Smith, Reese Robson, Jake Simpkin, Reed Marnie, Bailey Hayward, and the Cheese.
All right, who's getting the MVP for this episode for most surprising person?
Oh, Jake Simpkin, like probably for me, like because I just
For-
put a line through him in my mind.
For me, it's Sandon. for me.
Sandon, I'd give it to Sandon as well. Mainly the difference here is me and you both had Simpkin in
Yeah,
our sides.
yeah, I think that's it.
But the fact is Sandon, someone that I walked in here and didn't consider, and I
Yeah.
guess that's why Timmy's picking him because
Yeah.
we walked in, didn't consider him,
Nice
and now
bit
we're
of
walking out
exchange
considering him.
of information there.
Let's continue that vibe with the MVPs. We'll vote for it every episode, and then we'll have a team to start the year and just see how it goes to start the year.
MVPs. Well,
Yeah.
you better put in your notes.
Yeah, well, it is in my notes. I've already
Yeah, do that
I've
an
already put-
MVP and like let's see how the MVP. So that's a good idea.
And if you're watching on YouTube or on the Spotify's or whatever, comment
On the
who you think
Spotify,
your-
you're sounding older than every year, mate. Look at him on the
comment
Spotifys.
who you think the MVPs should be for the episode. I think Sandon will be a landslide win. Maybe
I think a lot of people would not agree with the Sandon.
Yeah,
chat.
probably.
They won't. But like, there's always that's the point of this.
Yeah. We have much more content over on the Patreon, so head to the Patreon link in the comments. But that's it for us today. Thanks for coming on, Mikey. Hopefully we'll see you soon because I think that was great. That was a great episode.
As I said, if I can make this a weekly thing with us three, I'd love to. But like I said, I just
Yeah,
got to
I
see
know.
you the new year. But I'm going to try and make my face more shown. Whether it's with you guys or on a little episode during the week, we'll do something. You'll hear more of me. this year.
Timmy, we'll see you next week for Front Row Forwards. It's my favourite episode every year.
Is it really?
There's a lot you can get out of it based on minutes and roles. Hot tip.
Saz is just trying to keep the listeners hooked into next week.
Stay tuned for next week.
He says that about all the positions.
All right. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.